Hello, Gavin here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the difference between flatwound and roundwound strings. So if you've ever had to buy a set of strings, you'll likely know that there's two main categories of string. You have roundwounds, which are the most common option, they ship on most bases as standard, but then of course you have flatwound strings. And the two are very different. Flatwounds typically have a darker sound, and they don't have the string noise that you would commonly associate with roundwounds, which do make them great for recording. But of course, for modern bass tones, roundwounds have all that bright top end and clarity that's needed for a modern recording session. But the real question is, how different do the two really sound? Well, today we're going to play through some examples and look just how different these two sets of strings are. So first up, we've got the jazz bass you've seen in most of my videos. This is strung up with Rotosound Jazz 77 flatwounds, the same set that it's had on it for about 4 or 5 months now, and that's something important to remember with flatwounds. Right out of the packet, at least for the ones that I use, they're actually quite bright. They of course don't have the string noise associated with roundwounds, but they've still got quite a bright sound, and right off the bat wouldn't sound all that different. The iconic flatwound sound is actually once they've been played in a bit. So these being a few months old is kind of the perfect example for flatwounds. It's got that rubber band style sound, just a great tone, and it actually works really well with fuzz pedals, as you'll hear in a wee bit. But what about for roundwounds? Well, for the roundwounds we have the complete opposite end of the spectrum. We're still using a jazz bass to keep things similar, but today we're going to use this brand new jazz bass that I just got. This is the Squier 54 Jazz. As you can see, it's got the 50s P-bass aesthetics with the Telecaster control plate and P-bass pickguard. It does also have the dual concentric pots that you used to get on some of the older jazz basses. But for the examples today, you're going to hear both basses with both pickups on and the tone controls full up, so it's as close as we can get them. But you really couldn't get newer strings on this bass. In fact, I put the Rotosound Swing66 set that's on here on today. This is going to be a true example of brand new roundwound strings, and you'll hear how much brighter they are, how much more clarity in the top end you have, but you will also likely hear a lot more string noise, even just there, when I slide on strings. Again, it's going to sound very different through the different pedals we use and through the different techniques we use. So today you're going to hear both basses played fingerstyle with a pick, palm muted and slap bass. They'll all be on clean sounds, just the basses, and you'll also hear an overdriven sound with a plectrum. That's the Kalavera Rokan Booster. Then you'll also hear a synthy style bass sound, like a low gain fuzz. That's the Bad Penny Little Box. You're also going to hear a high gain fuzz sound, and that's going to be the GojiraFx Sub Dark fuzz. These are three pedals I love using. In fact, there's been full demos on both the Bad Penny and the Gojira already on my channel. They'll be linked down below, but I do have a full video of the Kalavera coming out soon as well, so keep an eye out for that one. So I think that's enough talking. I think it's time we listen to how these two sets of strings sound. say that these do sound drastically different. For me personally, I love the sound of roundwounds for slap bass and modern sort of funk and rock bass tones. But for the old school vibes and for fuzz pedals in particular, for me you really can't beat flatwounds. There's just something about the way the flatwounds react with the fuzz pedal. It's just perfect. But that's my personal opinion, of course. I'd love to hear what you thought, so please let me know in the comments below which strings you preferred and which sound samples you thought sounded better with the different strings. I'd love to hear what you thought. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe down below and click that bell icon to be notified of more videos when they come out. And until next time, keep working on those bass faces.